roommate Alex and I decided to have our boyfriends over to watch TV and I was cooking Tim dinner, but he hadn't arrived in our room yet, and so Alex and Caleb were sitting in the living room on the couch, and I was in my room cooking like roasts and potatoes and carrots and okra and like rolls, and I was really proud of this meal, and I was waiting on Tim to get there, and I was preparing the roast to like move it from my crock pot to a plate. And I soon found out that using a big plastic spoon and a big plastic spatula was not an efficient way to move the roast from the crock pot to the plate, because the roast fell on the ground on this nasty dorm like carpet. And I just like stared at it in disbelief because I've been working on this all day, and I was like, my roast is on the ground. And I just stared at it. And I looked over in the living room where Alex and Caleb were sitting on the couch, and I just looked at him, and in the most pitiful voice you can imagine, I said, my roast just fell on the ground. And Caleb starts yelling, well, pick it up, Stephanie. And I was like, it's no use now, it's ruined, man. And so they began to encourage me and say, it's not that bad, it's really not that big of a deal, worse things could have happened. And I was like, well, okay, I'll pick it up and like cut off the part that hit the ground. And so we began to make a pact in my room to not tell Tim, or anyone for that matter, that I was going to serve him roast that had hit the ground. And I was like, you guys got to promise me you are not going to tell Tim what happened. So Tim comes over, I give him the plate, and he ate every bite on that plate. And I was like laughing in my mind. And I thought I had gotten away with like the biggest MACU cooking faux pas in the history of MACU. And later on that night, however, we went to the student center to play a game with some friends. And during the middle of catchphrase, I don't know what possessed her, but Alex goes, Tim, did you know Stephanie dropped that roast on the floor? And my mouth just dropped open like you could drive a Mack truck through my mouth. I was so appalled. I started yelling. I was like, Alex, we made a pact. You promised you would not tell him. And in that moment, I felt one word that could just describe my feelings, and that was betrayal. And that same word kind of haunted me for months, my senior year of high school. I was a senior in high school, and I had not had a boyfriend up until this point in my life, but this guy on the football team had kind of like caught my eye, and so we began to date. When I say date, I mean like we would hold hands in the hallway, and I would get to wear his practice jersey Friday nights at football practice. We never actually went on a date, so it wasn't really dating, but we said we were dating. And so we began to date, and I was aware that he liked this girl from his church before we started dating. And I was kind of insecure about that a little bit. I was like, maybe he's not over her, maybe I'm like a rebound or something. But we were dating, and that came to an end. I don't remember how long we dated, probably not very long. But anyways, we broke up, and he started dating like instantly the girl from his church. And so I was like brokenhearted for months. I thought I was in love with this guy, which I wasn't. But I was just like so brokenhearted. I was like laying on my couch at home. I was like skipping class and just eating those animal cookies that are like pink and white icing, and I would just eat those and like watch Dr. Phil. And my dad one time came up beside the couch, and he just knelt down beside me and said, Stephanie, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna get through this. You're gonna make it. And my mom would just like hold me and say, Stephanie, it's okay. God's got this. But in those months of my life, I felt betrayed. So what we're gonna talk about today is betrayal. And a guy named Stephen Dietz said this about betrayal. He said, one should rather die than be betrayed. There is no deceit in death. It delivers precisely what it has promised. Betrayal is the willful slaughter of all hope. I think all of us in this room today have felt betrayed at some point or other in our life. Some of those wounds remain deeper than others. Some cut us down, and we have no idea how we're ever going to weather those storms that take captive our thoughts and our attitudes in our lives. Some of us here today have been betrayed badly in our lives. Any kind of betrayal we face, though, it always has one thing in common. And the one thing that any kind of betrayal that we face will have is that betrayal always comes from those that we love. It never comes from an enemy. It never comes from those that we dislike. It always comes from those that we call friends. It always comes from those people that we give our hearts away to. Betrayal it's kind of like a bitter and stinging poison that just takes over our lives, like when a family member or a friend gossips about us, or when a boyfriend or a girlfriend breaks up with us, or when a coworker gets a raise at work and we know we've worked harder than they have. It comes like viper's fangs just seeping into our flesh when a family member cheats and lies just to inherit a little bit of money. But I think that the hardest betrayal that will cut us down to the very core of our being is when we feel betrayed by the very one who created us. And the psalmist, he knew this feeling very well. So if you would turn with me